Hi, my name is Matt James. I'm with Dover Fueling Solutions. I'm the Senior Director for Product Marketing, and I'm excited to be talking to you today about our Wetstock management solutions. So let's get started. We'll first start with just an overview of where we are globally and the strong presence that we have really everywhere for offering Wetstock management solutions. We've been doing it for over 23 years. We've got over 200 employees. We really are the #1 global provider for Wetstock management solutions. This is spread across 54 countries, protecting over 100,000 tanks across over 30,000 different sites. And all that adds up to and equates to over 75 billion liters of fuel every year that we are monitoring and managing for our customers, with a couple of the key strategic partners listed on the slide, as you can see right there. So why is Wetstock monitoring and management really needed? Well, it's really, the name of the game is about saving money. There are environmental risks involved and concerns that we can help mitigate, but it's also about cost avoidance on your part. You want to make sure that the fuel that you're receiving is the fuel that you're getting paid for. So there's lots of things that go on at the convenience store. You need to make sure the fuel pumps are pumping gas and transactions are going smoothly. You want to get customers inside the C-stores so you do those transactions as well. But there's lots of other things that can be happening on the forecourt, such as potentially something leaking, whether it's a tank or a pipe, maybe some theft that's going on. There's always natural things that are happening, such as evaporation or temperature changes. And so throughout all of this, you really need a real-time system that can be looking at this full-time, all the time, so that you can get notification and you can continue to run the normal operations that you need to do at your convenience store. So just as an example of some of the cost savings that you can find, here was a customer that we worked with, and we were monitoring their Wetstock overall at their site. And actually, they had a lot of sites, and a particular vendor was shorting them essentially on their fuel deliveries. And this was happening over time and at multiple sites. And it accumulated to what we were able to identify as indisputable evidence of $500,000 worth of shorted fuel deliveries. So a significant amount of money, which would be difficult to detect otherwise unless you had a system and people looking at that data on a continuous basis. So as a result, the customer got the money back, and this was able to be stopped as opposed to continue to go on without the customer knowing about it. So if you think about it, there are only 13% of the 750,000 plus fueling points or fueling stations across the globe that have some sort of Wetstock management and Wetstock monitoring. So there could be another 87% of those sites that could have something like this going on, or some sort of environmental infraction that's happening, and that is definitely a risk and a concern. So just another strong point as to why we really need to implement this on all sites, or you need to be considering it. So what's the different sources of loss and impacts on the forecourt? Again, environmental impact is definitely one. So any kind of a leak, whether it's in a line leak or a pump or in a tank. There's actual losses like theft, which we talked about. And then there are also perceived losses. So you really need to focus on making sure that your data is reconciled accordingly. And if there's some part of the chain where the fuel is delivered and then it's purchased and some of the data isn't correct, whether that's by missing sales data or tank calibrations are off, then that can cause a problem with that, and then we can be kind of down a wormhole as far as trying to figure out exactly where that failure is. So keeping the data reconciled appropriately and cleaned is extremely important. And that's why really having a comprehensive Wetstock monitoring and management system is so critical, because that's exactly what it does. So we collect data from various sources of the forecourt, ATGs, the dispensers, the point of sale, bring it all up into the cloud, take the delivery data that comes, make sure it's accurate, of course, back to our example, and then analyze it in the cloud. So we have multiple ways, 45 different pinpoint ways that we can look at it from a loss quantification and qualification perspective. And so we can really pinpoint exactly what's going on, where that loss may have come from, and then get that alert out to you that's actionable so you can take immediate action to either avoid that environmental issue, avoid those additional fees, or avoid that loss or avoid that theft going forward any further. In summary, everything that we have to offer for DFS, for Wetstock management, is really being able to help you identify and mitigate any and all fuel losses, really transform that reconciliation process so that all the fuel that's coming in is being sold, and you're able to to get money for that, and it's not getting leaked or lost or stolen somewhere throughout the process. And then also lower your overall operational costs, because anything that was to get out in that process would be an operational cost, and it could be magnified by a potential environmental infraction. So for more information, you can visit us at doverfuelingsolutions.com, or you can contact John Nesbitt directly, who is our sales director for Wetstock Management. There's his phone number and email. And thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you in person next year. Thanks.